Okay, guys, welcome back to today's session, the second one. All right, where we left off, we were discussing Helen Keller, and we left off at the part where we were saying that mom, Kate, is giving her daughter this peppermint drop that I showed you. Okay, and
Must we continue?
hello.
Miss, we can't hear you.
All right, guys, I'm sorry about this. So again, what I was saying is that Kate is giving her daughter this peppermint drop that we see in the shared screen. All right, which is a candy. All right. The question that I left you with before we ended our first session is this: do you guys feel that did Kate do anything to deserve a candy? I mean, Helen. Does Helen deserve a candy? Okay, so here we would say, let's hear from Judy, please.
No, because she ruined her mother's skirt.
Okay, so first of all, she has messed up the room that was clean an hour ago. She had, we already see that she messed up or spoiled her mother's skirt, okay, and that she had to clean it. And we also see that she herself is not tidy herself. Her mom had to or attempted to fix her hair. So here we see that basically Helen did absolutely nothing to deserve candy, because how is candy used with children, by the way? How is candy used with children? Hannah Hamdi, how do you use candy with a child?
As a reward?
As a reward. Thank you. Perfect word. Okay, we use candy when raising children. We use candy as a system of reward. Okay, you do something good. Okay, teachers also use that at the doctor's office. I mean, teachers use that. Doctors even use that. When you go to the doctor and you get your shots without crying or screaming or throwing a tantrum, the doctor gives you a lollipop or a piece of candy. Okay, if you answer the correct answer in the classroom or you participate well, you get a piece of candy. All right, so candy is a system of or a way of rewarding someone for positive behavior. However, we see that Kate is giving her daughter candy without her actually accomplishing or doing anything positive. And again, this falls back to why. Why do you think Kate is doing this? Do you think Kate is giving her this piece of candy? Even though she's preparing her for supper. Okay, so number one rule for parents: you don't have candy before supper because it might ruin your appetite. You're not going to eat well. You're not going to finish your supper if you have candy before it. So she breaks these rules and she gives her this peppermint drop. Why do you think Kate is doing this? Reem.
She wants her to be happy.
Good job. All right. So we see that she really just wants Helen to be happy. Okay. It doesn't matter what Helen does. She just wants to be, she wants to just keep Helen satisfied. Okay. That could be one reason. Why else? How does Kate feel? Remember, Kate is going where? Is she going to stay in the house or is she leaving Helen?
She's leaving her.
Good, she's leaving her, Judy, right? So that could be a sense of what? A sense of why is she giving her this peppermint job? Because she feels what? Guilt?
Guilty.
Guilty. Why? She feels guilty because she's going to be leaving her. So as a way of, here's a piece of candy because I'm leaving and I'll be back, okay, in a while. So, she's compensating her because of Kate has this guilt maybe that she's going to leave her for a few minutes or she's going to leave her for a while. So the child, she wants her to feel okay. Okay, so again, Kate is not doing again the right thing. And remember, candy is actually going to be a symbol in the story. And what is a symbol? It's something that stands, or a meaning that stands for, or something that stands for a deeper meaning other than itself. Okay, and here, what is the candy is going to? What do you think the candy will symbolize? What do you think the candy will symbolize, Hannah?
Maybe they will like it will be a reason for her to like be energetic. Maybe I don't know, to be honest.
Well, how it's used in the play, it's used as a way of
Calming her
rewarding,
down.
rewarding Katie for no reason. Okay, this is how candy is being used in the play, for rewarding Helen for no reason. They're only doing that
Maybe
because they feel a certain way about Helen. So, what do you think it'll symbolize, Nano?
When Annie comes and teaches Helen, she reward her يعني with treat
You guys
يعني
are
candy.
answering the question in the form of foreshadow. I'm not asking you guys what will candy foreshadow in the play. I'm asking you what will it symbolize? What does it stand for? Candy. What does it stand for in the session? In the play, in this part? What does it symbolize? What does it stand for? For what? For the way they feel?
That she should be rewarded without doing anything يعني.
It symbolizes their guilt, guys. It symbolizes Kate's guilt and her parents' sympathy and pity for Helen. Okay, this is the problem again for all of her problem with her behavior. Okay, they never reprimand her. They never tell her what's right or what's wrong because they feel pity. They feel that she's an afflicted child that we should all feel sorry for and handle with care and caution. Okay, we should let her do whatever she wants, have whatever she wants, and eat whatever she wants whenever she wants it. Okay, this is how they're dealing with her. So candy is a symbolism, and I need you to put that in your notes. Okay, as candy is a symbolism in the play for the way Kate and Mr. Keller pity, 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 and feel sorry and sympathize with Helen and provide her with a special treatment rather than showing her tough love. And tough love means that I love you and I care about you. But if you do something wrong, I'm going to have to punish you. I still love you, but I'm going to punish you. This is called tough love. Okay, this is called tough love. And tough love is the way that we are all raised, including you guys. Okay, your parents love you, but if you ever mess up or do something that you're not supposed to do, I'm sure they're not going to be so lenient with you, right? They're not going to give you that peppermint. Okay, so this is
Yes.
what exactly. So this is what the candy symbolizes the idea of the parents pity and their pity and sympathy and their feeling of sorry. Okay, they're feeling sorry for Helen and sheltering her and letting her get away with things. Okay, this is what the candy symbolizes. Okay, so going back to the play. Alrighty, going back to the play, let's pick up our rules for the miracle worker. All right, let's go with Mr. Keller comes in from the back of the house. He's holding a newspaper under his arm. He's eating radishes. Okay, and he sees James sitting on the porch. The porch is the front area of a house. Okay, so Mr. Keller, go ahead.
Jimmy,
Sir,
Item.
you don't look dressed for anything useful, boy.
I'm not. It's for Miss Sylvia.
All right, so he's basically Mr. Keller is commenting that you're dressed very nice, but you're not doing anything useful. All right, so this is what he is commenting about. Like, imagine you are dressed in a suit, but you're laying in the couch with a suit on. That's what he's saying. You're dressed too nicely, but I see you basically idle, not doing anything. Okay, so James explains that he's dressed this way or he's dressed nice and decent because he's going to go meet Mrs. Salvian. Go ahead, Keller.
Needn't keep holding up the Porsche. We have wooden posts for that. I asked you to see that those strawberry plants were moved this evening.
Uh, I'm I'm moving your Miss Keller instead to the station.
All right, so
Have-
here Keller is basically again, we see that the relationship is tense. Keller is always objective or has something to say, criticizing or critiquing Jimmy, all right, or James, all right. He's basically telling him, you're dressed and you're not doing anything, and he also is criticizing the fact that he gave him a task to get done, and that the task isn't done. So James explains that instead of moving the strawberry plant, he's going to be taking Mrs. Keller or Katie to this train station or to the railroad station to pick up Annie. Okay, Keller?
Mrs. Keller, must you always speak of her as though you haven't met the lady?
Kate comes out on the porch, and James inclines his head.
Mother,
He starts off the porch, but sidesteps Keller's glare like a blow.
I said mother.
Captain,
Evening, my dear.
we are off to meet the train. Captain, supper will be at Trifle delayed tonight.
What again?
Packing,
With your
backing
permission,
up,
Captain. Okay. With your permission, Captain.
and they are gone. Keller watches them off stage morosely. Upstairs, Helen, meanwhile, has groped for her mother, touched her cheek in a
Meaningful?
meaningful gesture. Waited, touched her cheek, waited, then found the open door, and made her way down. Now she comes into the family room, touches her cheek again. Vinny regards her.
What do you want, honey? Your mama?
Helen touches her cheek again. Vinny goes to the sideboard, gets a tea cake, gives it to Helen's hand. Helen pops you into her mouth.
Pops it. Good. So
Pops
here,
it.
what do we see? We meet the second piece of
Treat.
treat. All right, she's getting another treat. Okay, again, this is again a habit. Okay, not only the parents, but we also see Vinny again is sympathizing with Helen, because Helen obviously is touching the cheek, and touching her cheek means that she's asking for her mama. Okay, she wants her mom. She's touching the cheek, the cheek, trying to realize or understand that this is not my mother. Where is my mom? Okay, and in order to calm her or soothe her, she gives her a tea cake. Okay, another piece of sweet or candy or a treat, like Judy said, to kind of again show that they sympathize or they pity Helen. Okay, go ahead, Vinny.
Guess one little tea cake ain't gonna ruin your appetite.
She turns Helen toward the door. Helen wanders out onto the porch. As Keller comes up the steps, her hand encounters him, and she touches her cheek again. Wait.
She's gone.
He's awkward with her. When he puts his hands on her head, she pulls away. Keller stands regarding her heavily.
She's gone. My son and I don't get along. You don't know I'm your father. No one likes me, and supper's delayed.
Supper is delayed. All right.
Supper's
This is the first time we see that Mr. Keller expresses his feelings, right? Oh, since the beginning of the play, we've seen him a very strong man, very opinionated. Okay. He is responsible for the family. He is the decision maker. He is very strong. and strong-willed. Okay, very organized, and it seems to be very also punctual. All right, he likes to follow a certain schedule and so on. The first time here for us to see of him expressing his real inner conflicts. Okay, so make note of this in your notes. Okay, please, that this is the first time we see how vulnerable Mr. Keller is, or how sensitive he is to the family and the conflicts that are appearing to him. Okay, and he mentions a few of them. Okay, the first one that he discusses, she's gone. Okay, number one, he's talking about his wife. His wife is not home. Okay, he talks about my son and I don't get along. So we see that even though he doesn't treat James the best way possible, all right, but he senses it. So we know that Mr. Keller Arthur Keller is aware of the distance and the conflict between him and his son James, and he's not happy with it. Okay, so he's basically saying that no one likes, and my son and I don't get along, and he's talking about Helen now, that she doesn't even recognize him as her father. Okay, remember, Helen doesn't see, so she only knows the people that she really encounters with a lot, which could be possibly Kate. All right, so we see that maybe she doesn't really know her father, or she's not really attached to him as much as she is attached to Kate. All right, because when he tries to hold her, when he puts his hand on her head, she pulls away. All right, so we see that Helen is not really comfortable with Mr. Keller. Not because he's bad to her or anything. It's just because she's not acquainted with him. Okay, she's never saw him. She doesn't maybe have a memory of him, or she doesn't recognize him as a person in her life. So that is also upsetting him. He feels that he's disliked, and he's also upset about the fact that supper is going to be delayed. All right, so here we see a side of Mr. Keller that we haven't seen previously, because he comes off as a very serious man who's very hard, but actually here we see that he does have feelings, and he does have a lot of concerns that are internal conflicts for him. Okay, especially his relationship with his son, and the fact that Helen is unaware of him and doesn't recognize him as a father figure to her. Okay, continue here.
Miss Helen, Miss
This
Helen,
is
what's the
Keller again.
supper?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Judy. Helen.
Helen touches her cheek, waits. Keller fishes in his pocket.
What does he give her this time?
Here,
Let's
I bought
see.
you some stick
Go ahead,
candy.
Mr. Keller.
Here, I bought you some stick candy. One nibble of sweets can't do any harm.
He gives
Good
her
job.
a large stick candy. Helen falls to it. Vinny peers out the window.
Vinny, go ahead.
Captain Killer, now how I'm gonna get her to eat her supper. You fill her up with that trash?
Okay, so again, this is a little bit of ironic. What is ironic about what Vinny said? Remember what number? Oh, this is how which kind of candy? This is her second or third candy to get.
Third.
Third, right? First she got what? Who could remind me of the sweets that she's gotten so far? Ahmed Rashwan, give us a list of the sweets that Helen has received thus far.
اللي هو like the lollipop اللي هو red في white دي.
Okay, the peppermint drop.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I can't remember the second one, but
Who could remind us? Reem.
A tea cake.
A tea cake, good job. And then
third
finally,
one, a stick candy.
a stick candy. Bravo. Okay. Again, this is all the sweets that she has received in such a very short time period. And it's very significant to see that she's getting them without actually any type of positive behavior. Okay, she's getting them for no reason. Okay, they're not used as a positive reinforcement, like Hannah Hamdi told us. Okay, that candy is used as a reward. It's not being used as that. It's actually used to spoil her. Now, Vinny says, and she's actually being a little bit of aggressive with Captain Keller. She says, Captain Keller, how am I going to feed her supper? You're filling her up with that trash. Okay, you're giving her all that candy. How is that ironic? Where's the irony here? Nano.
Because she gave her candy before her father, before Mr. Keller.
Exactly. All right, this is ironic because we see her already we see that she has already offered Helen a piece of tea cake. Okay, so this is definitely going to ruin her supper as well. So basically, Vinny's not doing anything different. It's just a matter of what choice of candy or sweets or treat that she's getting. Okay, Keller, you're going to speak aggressively or scream. What are you going to say?
Tend to your work.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Vinny beats a rapid retreat. Keller thinks better of it and tries to get the candy away from Helen, but Helen hangs onto it. And when Keller pulls, she gives her his a leg. She gives his leg a kick. Keller hops about. Helen takes refuge.
Takes refuge. Yes.
Refuge with the candy down behind the pump. And Keller then erratically flings his newspapers on the porch. Porch floor, slams into the house past Vinny and disappears.
Continue, Judy. Mm-hmm.
The lights have dim on the homestand, where Vinny and Helen going about their business soon find their way off. Meanwhile, the railroad sounds off left. Off left how have mountain in a
Crescendo
to a climax typical of a depot.
A depot.
At arrival time. The lights come up on stage left, and we see a suggestion of a station.
So here the scenes are changing. Remember, guys, sorry, Judy, to cut you off, but the scenes are changing without really making a note of scene 1 and scene 2. Okay, so we saw the Keller, then we went to the Perkin institution, then we went to the Keller's home again, and now from the Keller's home, we're moving on to the railroad station. So this is how the scenes are changing through the stage directions. They're not broken down. The act is not broken down into different scenes. Okay, so they change the scenes by mentioning the scene changing through the stage directions. Okay, please make note of that. So Judy, now we left the Keller's home. Okay, now we're at the station. Who's available at the station? Go ahead, Judy. Tell us who's available at the station.
Annie.
Annie.
James and Kate.
Okay, good. So Annie, good job. So here, Annie, let's read for me.
Miss me.
Judy's not still done still. She's gonna start at here, Annie in her.
Here Annie in her smoked glasses and disrayed by travel is waiting with her suitcase while James walks to meet her. She has a battered paper-bound book, which is a Perkins report under her arm.
Okay, let's read about the Perkins report. One of the annual reports by Dr. Samuel Howe, founder of the Perkins Institution, describing his methods for teaching blind and deaf children. Okay, so she's holding this report in her hand. Seems that on her way, or even before, she has been concerned about learning from this man called Dr. Howe. Okay, and Dr. Howe is a doctor. He's the founder or the person that initiated or founded the Perkins Institution for the Blind. And he wrote a book about teaching or describing different methods on how to teach blind and deaf children. So we see here Annie is actually working on herself and educating herself so that she could do a great job with Helen Keller. Okay, so we're gonna pause here on this page. Okay, and we have again picked up, okay, 2 pages of the reading, and tomorrow is going to be a novel, so we're gonna pick up the reading again on Thursday. All right, for now I want to pick up the participle. All right, and here we're reminded of the participle is, or the verbals. Okay, verbals are again, this is gonna start on, this is chapter 5. Now we finished phrases. We talked about adjective phrases and adverb phrases. Now we're going to discuss the verbals, and we said verbals are verbs. Okay, hence they're called verbals, and they are words that are used as different parts of speeches. Okay, and we recognize them. Okay, we recognize them as 3 types that we're going to discuss in this chapter. We discussed that there could be a participle phrase, okay, a gerund phrase, or an infinitive phrase. Each one is going to be discussed first as a participle alone, and then a participle phrase. Then we're going to discuss gerund alone and then a gerund phrase. The difference between a participle and a participle phrase is that a participle is usually one word, but a participle phrase includes the participle and other things with it. Okay, so again, I'm going to describe what makes a participle phrase, but today let's focus on the actual participle. And we agreed that a participle comes in 3 forms. It could be in the past tense with an ed, okay? It could be in the present tense using the ing, and it could also be in the past participle, like the verb known, for example. All right, so if we look here at the participle, all right, so here a participle is a word, and remember that a participle is used as an adjective. Okay, it's used as an adjective. It's essentially a verb, but it's how is it used in the sentence is used as an adjective. Like, for example, the word boiled. All right, if you look at the word boiled, you would think that it's a verb. Okay, I can say Judy boiled water. Judy's my subject, boiled is a verb. Okay, however, if I say, for example, all right, Judy ate a boiled egg. Now, the word boiled here is not a verb. It's no longer used as a verb. Why? Because it's used as an adjective. And remember, an adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. Please keep that in mind and do not forget it. So here the word boiled is going to describe what, Judy?
Egg.
It describes the egg. So here the word boiled, is it used as a verb or is it used as a participle?
Participle.
Why is it used as a participle? Because it's used as an adjective. All right, what does it modify? It modifies the word egg. In which tense is it used? It's used in the
Past tense.
in the past tense. All right, this is number 1. Okay, you can also use it in the present tense. All right, the book provides you the example of smiling. The smiling child waved. If I look at the word smiling, I would say that this is a verb. Judy is smiling at the audience. Okay, so smiling here is a verb, is smiling, verb phrase. But if I said a different sentence would be, or using it as a participle, the smiling child waved. Okay, so here again, we're using as a participle, the smiling child waved. Okay, so here again, smiling is used as a participle. Why is it used as a participle? Because it's used as a adjective. Who is being described as smiling? Who is used to describe as smiling? How about Hala? Hala, can you tell me who is described as smiling in the sentence?
Miss, can you say the question again?
Can you see my screen?
Oh,
Share?
yes, I can. Yes.
The smiling child waved. Okay, the word smiling, what does it modify? Or who
Uh,
does it modify?
child.
It modifies the child. And child is a noun. Which tense is this participle used in? Hala.
Present.
In the present tense. Okay, now guys, are these participles or participle phrases?
Miss, no, it's past because the smiling child waved.
We're not looking at the verb, we're looking at the actual participle. Okay, the actual participle here is smiling. Okay, how am I describing the child? Waved, remember,
As
is a
smiling.
verb. The waved is a verb. This is my actual action verb in the sentence. It's in the past tense, yes. Okay, like ate. Ate is in the past tense, but ate is my verb. I'm not concerned with the verb, I am concerned with the participle. And the participle is a verb used as an adjective. Okay, it's a verb used as an adjective in the sentence. All right, so when I say the smiling child waved, smiling is a verb, but how is it used in the sentence here? It's used as an adjective. In which tense? It's in the present tense because it ends in ing. Okay, you understand, Hannah? So we're not looking at the verb,
Yes.
we're looking at the participle. All right, the word that describes the subject. Not even the subject, it describes a noun. Okay, so let's say, for example, here again, we would say for the other one that we have, I'm going to save here this, and I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to share the actual book with you. Let's look at the examples again. All right. The smiling child waved. Again, smiling, participle, verb ending in ing, describing the child. It's a participle. It's describing a noun. It's an adjective. The horses trotting past were not frightened by the crowd. Remember, this is the verb. Were frightened. Okay. How are the horses described? That they were doing what? What were they? They were trotting.
Trotting.
Okay, remember, don't get your verb confused with your participle. The horses were not frightened by the crowd. This is my subject and my verb. How is the verb or how is the subject described using a participle? By using the participle trotting. So trotting is my participle in the present because it ends in ing. Okay, now we're going to move on to another. All right, the next example is the past tense. Okay, the police officers searched the abandoned warehouse. Now remember, to abandon something means to leave it neglected. To abandon alone is a verb, but here I'm using it abandoned. I added an ed, bringing it into the past tense. And how am I using it? To describe what? To describe the warehouse. So again, abandoned here is a participle in the past tense because it ends in ed. And what does it modify? It modifies the warehouse. This plate, bought at a flea market, is a valuable antique. Remember, plate is my subject. Okay. My verb is. How is the plate described? That it was bought at a flea market. Remember, bought at a flea market, this whole thing is my participle phrase because it's the participle plus a prepositional phrase. But this lesson today, I'm not focused on the participle phrase. I'm only focused on the one word that is the actual participle. So how am I describing this plate? That it is bought. So bought is my participle, and my participle phrase would be bought at a flea market. Okay, the next one, chosen for her leadership abilities. Remember, this is a participle again plus a prepositional phrase. Together, this whole thing would be my participle phrase, but I'm not concerned with that yet. Okay, I just want to look for the one word that describes Dawn. She's my subject. Dawn was an effective team captain. Dawn is the subject, was is my verb. How am I describing Dawn? That she was what?
Choosing.
Chosen. Okay, she was chosen for her leadership abilities. This whole thing is a participle phrase. It's the participle plus a prepositional phrase. But we're not into that yet. We're just concerned with the participle itself, which is chosen, and bought describes plate, and chosen describes Dawn. Okay, these are my participles. All right, so again, what I want to do is I want you to open up your books. I'm going to stop share because my book has answer key, and I want you to open up your books to exercise 4, and I want you to point out the participles for me, not the participle phrases. Okay, only the participles, and tell me the noun that they describe. This is going to be on page 148. Okay, so again, on page 148 in your textbook, in your grammar textbook. Okay, page 148 in the grammar textbook. We're doing exercise number 4. Number 1, who is ready? If you have your hands raised, that means you're ready. Okay, Reem, you're ready?
Yes.
Go ahead, baby. Tell me.
Cracked and warped.
Cracked and warped. What does it?
Yeah.
Both of them describe what?
Records.
Good job, Yareem. Okay, so cracked and warped. They modify the records. And which tense are these in, Reem? Your
Past.
participles are in which tense? In the past tense. Okay, if you look at the sentence, it says records cracked and warped were in the old trunk in the attic. Okay, records is my subject. The records are my subject. They're the CDs or whatever. And were is the verb. How are the records described? That they were cracked and warped. Good job. Number 2, Hannah Hamdi. Shouting loudly, Carmen warned the pedestrians to look out for the car. Where is my participle and what does it describe?
Shouting.
Good. Remember, shouting loudly is correct. But that would be my participle phrase because it's a participle plus an adverb. Okay? So the participle alone is shouting. And who is described as shouting?
It describes warned.
Who is shouting?
Carmen.
Carmen. So it modifies Carmen. Okay? And which tense is my participle in, Hannah?
Present.
Good job, Hannah. Perfect. Thank you. Number 3, Hannah Durghem. Spoken in haste, the angry words could not be taken back. Where's my participle?
Spoken.
Spoken. Remember, spoken in haste is. Remember, spoken in haste means that when you speak quickly before thinking wisely before what you say. Okay, so spoken alone is the participle. My participle phrase.
Spoken in haste.
Yes, spoken in haste would be my participle phrase because again, it is a participle plus a prepositional phrase. Now, spoken describes what, Hannah?
The angry.
Angry is an adjective, baby, and a participle is an adjective. Adjectives don't describe adjectives. Adjectives have to be describing a noun. What are spoken in haste? Spoken. What are you speaking? Spoken. They're describing the words. Exactly. All right. So spoken here describes the words. Okay. It describes the words. So do you guys see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 3, thank you. Number 3, again, we said is going to be spoken. The participle is spoken. And the spoken here is in which tense? Is it past or present or irregular? Hannah. Who could help Hannah? Is it past, present, or irregular?